Am I the asshole for not insisting my daughter remain celibate? She lives at home, and she's 20. My wife is absolutely insistent that so long as she lives here, she isn't to have relations with anyone. We live in a state with very poor abortion laws. My daughter can't go on the pill for medical reasons. My wife's reasoning is that other forms of contraception aren't perfect, and an unwanted pregnancy would completely derail her life. She's a really smart girl with near-perfect grades and a high-tested IQ. She commutes to a good college from our place. Her being forced to have a baby, or possibly even a criminal record, would be life-changing. I agree with all this, but I don't think it's our place to tell her what to do. She's an adult. As parents, all we can do is make her as aware as possible of the risks and empower her to act herself. My wife says this reasoning is a cop-out, and it's easy to just say and be the good parent, but having a baby isn't the same as other errors you can make growing up that you learn from and move on from. It'll change your life on the spot. She believes it's our duty to know better and shield her until she's grown up enough to move out. My wife is annoyed because we aren't presenting a united front, and I get to be the good parent in this scenario when she feels my actions aren't actually protecting my daughter's best interests. I sympathize with my wife. A baby would ruin her life, and we, at our age, honestly do know better. But our daughter's a young adult now. Even if we know better, we don't get to make decisions like this on her behalf. We can inform her, but that's it. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your wife's intentions may be good, but she's overstepping boundaries. Your daughter is an adult and has the right to make her own choices. I agree. Although she'd say that she still lives in our home. So there is some conditions that would be fair. I think this isn't really fair to our daughter, as she has no option but to live with us. We can't afford college rents. Me and my wife both left home at 18 and 17 respectively. We didn't answer to our parents then. I think it's unfair to expect our daughter to answer to us now because of high rent prices. Not the asshole. Has your wife always been this controlling over your daughter? This is absurd. How exactly is your wife trying to enforce this? How does your daughter feel about her mother in regard to this? Not the asshole. Whatever stance you take on the matter of your adult daughter's celibacy doesn't matter anyway, because it's ultimately not enforceable by either you or your wife. Beyond that, it's a gross invasion of your daughter's privacy as well. Not the asshole. Your wife needs to have a look at the calendar. Also, there is literally nothing you can do to stop a grown-ass woman from having sex, being in a relationship. Stopping her from doing it in your house means nothing. You will only motivate her to move out sooner. Am I the asshole for not giving the family heirloom to my stepgrandchild even though she is the oldest? In the family, we have 2 female heirlooms that are given to the kids. One of them went to my daughter, and the other is supposed to go to the oldest granddaughter. My daughter got the family necklace, and the oldest granddaughter is supposed to get the family earrings. Sally is biologically my granddaughter, and she is 17. Jenny, 18, is my step-granddaughter, who came into the family when she was 14. I don't have a relationship with her at all. She has her own side of the family, and most holidays she chooses to see her grandparents while my grandkids see me. I have been promising the earnings to Sally since she was small. Jenny just turned 18, and this is when I was supposed to gift the earning to the oldest granddaughter in the family. I didn't. Instead, I got her a nice necklace. This started a huge argument that I didn't give her the earnings. I informed them that she may be the oldest, but Sally was my first granddaughter. I have promised her for years, and I am not breaking that promise. My daughter thinks I am a huge jerk for this and has made it clear. Stepkids aren't automatically part of your family, you being not one of the parents. Not the asshole. You promised Sally, so you have every right and obligation to keep said promise. Not the asshole. You promised these earrings to your granddaughter well before your step-granddaughter joined your family. Your daughter doesn't have to like your decision, but the earrings are yours to pass down. You made a promise to Sally and are fulfilling it. Given that you have no relationship with the stepdaughter, why would you give her a precious family heirloom? Also, you can give your belongings to whomever you wish. I am sorry you are going through this. Family problems can be painful. To paraphrase, you can please some of the people all the time. You can't please all of the people all of the time. This includes family members, not the asshole. Am I the asshole for not insisting my daughter remain celibate? She lives at home, and she's 20. My wife is absolutely insistent that so long as she lives here, she isn't to have relations with anyone. We live in a state with very poor abortion laws. My daughter can't go on the pill for medical reasons. My wife's reasoning is that other forms of contraception aren't perfect, and an unwanted pregnancy would completely derail her life. She's a really smart girl with near-perfect grades and a high-tested IQ. She commutes to a good college from our place. Her being forced to have a baby, or possibly even a criminal record, would be life-changing. I agree with all this, but I don't think it's our place to tell her what to do. She's an adult. As parents, all we can do is make her as aware as possible of the risks and empower her to act herself. My wife says this reasoning is a cop-out, and it's easy to just say and be the good parent. But having a baby isn't the same as other errors you can make growing up that you learn from and move on from. It'll change your life on the spot. She believes it's our duty to know better and shield her until she's grown up enough to move out. My wife is annoyed because we aren't presenting a united front, and I get to be the good parent in this scenario when she feels my actions aren't actually protecting my daughter's best interests. I sympathize with my wife. A baby would ruin her life, and we at our age honestly do know better. But our daughter's a young adult now. Even if we know better, we don't get to make decisions like this on her behalf. We can inform her, but that's it. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your daughter is an adult and can do whatever she wants. I do understand your wife's POV a little, but it's not her place to make decisions about your daughter. Not the asshole. Your daughter is an adult and has the right to body autonomy. Nobody, regardless of whether they are related or not, has the right to dictate what your daughter decides to do or don't do with her body. Not the asshole. Your wife cannot make the choice for your daughter to be celibate. It's both of your houses, so unless you both agree to something, as a rule, for staying there, it's not a rule your daughter has to follow. The hope is, your daughter obviously doesn't get pregnant, but she should be allowed to experience love and relationships like a normal person. Not the asshole. You gotta fact-check your wife. Many pill alternatives are just as if not more effective. Encourage your daughter to see an OB and talk about the options. This is about control and darling innocent daughter. That's it. She's gonna do it. Either she can be uneducated and unprotected when it happens, or in the know and prepared. It doesn't take much imagination to figure out which one will end up with an unwanted pregnancy. You're the asshole. While it's important to respect your daughter's choices, your wife has valid concerns. An unwanted pregnancy could have serious consequences for her health, education, and future. As parents, you have a responsibility to guide and protect your child, even if it means setting boundaries. Not the asshole. Women have a finite time to reproduce. Your 20s are the easiest time to meet other single people. Why would you want to inhibit her ability to find a meaningful partner? She may end up stunted by this and single well past her prime. Am I the asshole for telling my mom I didn't like something my stepfather did? My mom, 52 female, and dad divorced when I was 6, and my mom got custody over me with me visiting my dad every other weekends. Both parents remarried, my mom once and my dad twice. My stepfather, male 48, was in my life from when I was 6 years old. He took me to school, doctor's appointments, and went to all my graduations, except elementary school, because my dad went. While he took care of me, he never took the place of my dad, and most of the raising was done by my mom. My dad and I aren't close. After the divorce, I only saw him every other weekend, and he would also be working. When he wasn't working, he was sleeping. I spend most of the time with my grandma and cousin, whose dad's basement he lived in. My second stepmother came into my life at 15, and I spent a few months with her before I stopped visiting my dad on the weekends. So we're not close, and I don't have a close relationship with my father. I talk to him maybe twice a month. I talk to my stepmother less than that. My brother and my dad are close now because my dad gave my brother a fat check when he got married. I guess that erased all the things he did when we were growing up. When my dad visits, my brothers and my mom pressure me to hang out with him. I don't have anyone to have my back or to support me, so I hang out with the family. My mom then turns around and says that I favor my dad more than her. I'm now 28. I still live with my mom and stepfather, and I'm currently looking for a place to move because I think it's time for me to move. Yesterday, we went to dinner and my stepfather was tapping the menu on the table. I asked him, "Could you please don't do that?" And he threw the menu at me. It didn't hurt me, but it caught me off guard, and I felt a bit disrespected. My mom didn't see. I threw it back over at him, and he threw it again. So I took the menu and put it next to me. My brother was sitting next to me, but didn't say a word. Today, my mom and I were talking, and I brought it up. I said I didn't like how he threw the menu at me. My mom's response was, "If your dad's wife did that, you wouldn't have said anything." And I said, "Yes, I would," and she said, "No, you couldn't." This goes back and forth, and she says, "Then you said don't do that." And I said, "No, I said please stop doing that." And she goes, "Oh, and then he hurt you, he threw it at you." I just walked away. I regret ever saying anything. Am I the asshole for even saying anything, or am I making a big deal over nothing? Your stepfather's antics fall into AH territory. Why would a grown man throw a menu at anyone in public? Childish at best. Sounds like your mom and stepfather harbor resentment toward you for this family dynamic they created. Good thing you are moving out. Find some good friends so you can make them a chosen family. Oh, and definitely not the asshole. Enta, always stand up for yourself, but next time ask him if he's doing. Sounds like this was out of character for him. And maybe he was trippin'. It's not out of character for him. He tends to act immature a lot. Ever since I met him, my mom and him fight over his behavior a lot, but when it comes to him doing something to me, she acts like we're wrong for accusing him of doing something. One time, he picked up a bunch of Amazon packages and threw it on the floor, and when I went to pick it up, he started kicking them around. He likes to poke me until I get annoyed. He took off his shoes and put up his feet when we were in a business office for a NYE's party. One time, he kept staring at me, and when I moved, he moved rooms to continue to stare at me. When I told my mom, she said, "What do you want me to do?" One time, he hit me on my arm, and when I told my mom, she made it sound like I was accusing him of abuse. She said I don't respect him. I don't recall what he hit me for, but it was something minor. I think I changed the channel or something. I'm in the process of buying a house, and I noticed that his snarky comments are a lot more basically saying, I need to call before I come over. I need to eat whatever they cook. I took these comments with a grain of salt, but the menu thing was a little too much in my eyes. Every time he does something and I bring it up to my mom, she makes it worse and makes me the bad guy. I wasn't even planning on saying anything about the menu, but it came up and I said it without thinking. Not the asshole. Even if it's a minor annoyance, you should be able to tell your mom things. Am I the asshole for only paying the cleaner half for showing up when she was needed? When she was not needed. We have a cleaner that comes in 3 to 4 times a week, depending on when needed. She came in on Sunday, even though I told her we won't be home, verbally. I don't know where the confusion came from. We usually confirm dates in text afterwards if she is coming, but nothing was confirmed. She calls me and says she is at our home, but there's no spare key and no one is home. I tell her she wasn't scheduled to come in and apologize for the confusion, even though she tries to tell me this was planned and she traveled all the way here and had to arrange childcare. I again apologized, but know for a fact I have not asked her to come in because I have not put a spare key out. Because I feel bad, I do send her money, half than usual. She then said she had to get an Uber because of the rain. I don't think I should cover her Uber costs or pay her the full amount for not cleaning. Am I the asshole for only giving half? I forgot to mention that she said she called before coming over, but from the time off the call, it seems she was already on her way, and I did not see her call on time. Telling her you won't be home isn't the same thing as telling her services aren't needed that day. If you weren't crystal clear, I can see why she expected a key to be left out. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. If you still have them, do the full services. If you don't want to pay them, tell them to go home, because it wasn't agreed on. Either way, you need to sort out some way to actually communicate with this person in writing, like a shared calendar or just a text with all of the dates they are coming this month. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.